What's up everyone, SKULM here, and in today's video we're going to talk about Season 7 and the Necromancer. Season 7 final patch notes have been released and I will cover the best Necromancer build for Season 7, the Season of Witchcraft. Let us begin. Let me quickly show you the Season 7 Necromancer build tier list. It should pop on your screen right now. As you can see, I don't waste time and you see all specs already placed in the tier list. Also in the background, you're gonna see me speedrun Pit 150 in the Season 7 PTR. Now, this speedrun is achieved by playing Shadow Bloodwave, and I have some really good news, okay? The good news is that we have our absolute winner, which is Shadow Bloodwave. It is very easy to name this build because we are using Bloodwave and the aspect of Ultimate Shadow, which naturally makes it Shadow Bloodwave. So let's have a deeper look. Before we begin, I want to note that Blood Spirit, which is also known as Spirit Wave, is gone. That build will no longer be viable, so forget about it for now, or you can just say your deeds of valor will be remembered. Anyway, when we look at the tier list, we can clearly see the definite winner. Like the S+ tier, you have Shadow Bloodwave. Again, Shadow Bloodwave received a lot of nerfs. I will put these nerfs into the screen right now. You're gonna see them appear. But it will remain as an S+ tier build, which will be capable of clearing Pit 150 in Season 7. I have done my own calculations. So my calculations are a bit different compared to the other people, but in any way, this is amazing news for Necromancers. We will finally have a great build, okay, that is super tanky, deals massive damage while introducing fun mechanics. Okay, this is what we have been wanting for a long time. So essentially, we will see our damage in Season 7 PTR. Again, this is my own calculation, divided by 7.5, okay? So again, all these nerfs, you're just gonna look at the damage that you have been doing in Season 7 PTR and you're just gonna divide it by 7.5. So that means if we dealt 550 trillion damage and we divide it by 7.5, that should be 73.333, 73.3 trillion, okay? 73 trillion, let's say. That will be the new damage you deal instead. So I knew about this, okay, and when I was live streaming on Twitch, people just kept saying, well, SKULM, you need to try maximizing damage while fortified and damage while healthy and whatnot. And I have been trying a completely different setup, okay? I have been using blood overpower tempers, blood overpower damage, and every type of blood overpower temper and damage I could find, instead of damage while fortified and damage while healthy and just abusing the ultimate mechanic, okay? So the good news is, even with blood overpowers and whatnot, you could clear Pit 150 in approximately 11 minutes. That's what I was doing. I have a build that actually is an alternative to this one, and it could clear Pit 150 in approximately 11 minutes. Now, the good news is, we do not need to change anything. I think we, according to my own calculation, we still need to stick and focus on damage while fortified and damage while healthy, okay? Well, I trusted my predictions and I put my money where my mouth is, all right? Therefore, my previous build guide video, which was released over a month ago, I trust my own predictions. That build guide will still be super accurate and viable. All you have to do is to click the build guide video link in the pinned comment below this video, okay? That's all you have to do. You can learn everything in detail. I'm not gonna take your time in this video to talk about the mechanics. Go click that video if you want to learn about Shadow Bloodwave, how to play it, how to build it. I have literally talked about everything and I have provided a step-by-step guide video over there, okay? Go link that video. Anyway, now there is a debate about using Grasping Veins versus the aspect of Apogeic Furor because that aspect is nerfed. So this argument supports the use of Apogeic Furor, okay? And it states that if you do not use corpse tendrils, okay? If you do not use corpse tendrils, you can invest points into the newly reworked Reaper's Pursuit for more darkness damage from darkness skills on the action bars. Okay, this is an important detail because Reaper's Pursuit have been reworked, and the more darkness skills you have on your action bar, the more extra damage you will deal. So basically, if you have Sever, Blighted Corpse Explosion, and these types of darkness damage abilities on your skill bar, even if you don't use them, you gain a passive damage bonus from Reaper's Pursuit. And this argument says that you can still use Apogeic Furor against Grasping Veins and get better results if you do not use Corpse Tendrils on your action bar, okay? I do not like this argument. Personally, I prefer to run Corpse Tendrils, and you can see it in my speedrun. Corpse Tendrils is great to group enemies together. You combine this with the Piranado Witch Power, so Corpse Tendrils plus the Piranado pool effects. You have everything pulled together, then you can spam your blood waves easier. This is personal preference, but I just wanted to inform you, if you do not want to play Grasping Veins or Corpse Tendrils, there is an alternative to this build which will achieve similar results, okay? But all in all, this build will be one of the winners of Season 7, okay? I am very happy to finally see a top S+ tier Necromancer build in Diablo 4. Now, in Season 7 PTR, I have been speedrunning Pit 150. I have live streamed my runs. I clear Pit 150 around 2 minutes 55, 2 minutes 56 seconds, 250. If I used Metamorphosis aspect, I could do way faster because it makes everything easier, because I lose a lot of time running around. So if I use Metamorphosis, I could definitely go 240-ish even, or 230-ish even, okay? So Shadow Blood Wave is the ultimate winner. That's what we want to know and notify and emphasize in this video. Shadow Blood Wave, the ultimate S+ Necromancer build. All right. There is a dark horse I want to talk about, which is Bone Spear. I think Bone Spear is great, especially after the latest buffs and changes to the Bone Duster's aspect. Summary, Bone Duster now makes your Bone Spear overpower if an enemy is placed inside Bone Prison. Now, in the PTR, the biggest challenge of this build was to make Bone Spear overpower. We needed consistent overpower on Bone Spears. We used Banished Lord's Talisman, certain runes, and whatnot. We had to play around clunky mechanics. And unfortunately, making Bone Spear enable Blood Wave and making some sort of Frankenstein Blood Wave build was actually yielding better results in the PTR. Now, this kind of changed a little bit, okay? So you can still make a Blood Wave Bone Spear variant and get similar results by using Bone Spear as a Blood Wave enabler. This is not how a Bone Spear should look like, I think, but I think the concept is great and it has room for evolution. Bone Spear has a bit long way to go still. I think it's evolving still, but it is on a great path, okay? I will call it Blood Spear because it's what it should be called. Blood Spear by itself now can overpower all times because they changed Bone Duster aspect. Every time you hit an enemy inside your Bone Prison, you will have Blood Spear overpowers. This is perfect. Now we can look at alternatives to Rune Words, and we can look at alternatives to Banished Lord Talisman. Now, the 60x damage bonus from Banished Lord Talisman only applies if your overpowered crits at the same time. Remember this, it has to overpower and then it has to crit at the same time for the Banished Lord Talisman to grant you that 60x damage. Now, there might be some alternative results and alternatives to increase our DPS even further. That's why this is a Dark Horse build, and I am extremely hopeful about this build for future seasons. In Season 7, Shadow Blood Wave, Ultimate Ruler, the Supreme Ruler, okay? But the Dark Horse is the Bone Spear build, alright? I personally calculated tier 120 to 125-ish pit clears from this build. I think it still needs a lot of work and buffs for pit 140 plus clears. I put this build in A tier because I think it still takes a lot of time and effort to realize this build, and the payoff is not amazing, okay? Usually it should be 150 pits, basically, for it to be amazing, alright? And now, the second loser of the patch, Season 7 final notes, the second loser after Spirit Wave or Blood Spirit, the second loser is the Mendeln Summoner. Now, the Army of the Dead nerfs will definitely hurt Minion Necro Fantasy once again. During Season 7 PTR, you could combine minions with the Army of the Dead and clear upwards of pit 140. I repeat, you could combine minions and Army of the Dead in the Season 7 PTR and you could clear upwards of pit 150. Upwards of means starting from the number and going up. It's not upwards to, upwards of, okay? Above hit 140. If I said upwards to, that means that would be the ceiling. I'm saying upwards of. Pay attention. The nerf to Army of the Dead and Pointed Finger will also hurt a lot. Now, Army of the Dead nerf, absolutely got it, okay? Pointed Finger nerf, uncalled for. They will hurt the Summon Necromancer. This build, I think, is now good for leveling. Summon Necromancer will always be a good leveling build, and I think it will also help you clear early pit levels like pit 100 plus, okay? For pit 100 plus clears, you can play a Mendeln Summoner Necromancer and have a good time until you find your items for the Shadow Blood Wave, okay? In general, I think it's upsetting news, and I dropped this build to B tier in my tier list. Now, a lot of you will be asking about leveling. Which leveling builds should you run? I'm going to recommend 3 different builds, actually more, in leveling. So the first recommendation is to play Minion Necromancer, because I think it's still great for leveling, and use Shade Mist aspect as soon as you find it, because your minions will have automatic Shade Mist aura around them and they will deal a lot of damage, which will be great for leveling, okay? If you find Shade Mist aspect, you need to use a Shade Mist Minion Necromancer for leveling. It is super strong for leveling. Perfect, okay? On the second place, I have placed Blood Surge due to guaranteed overpowers, and if you're good at resource management and if you find certain aspects, it's actually like an infinite chain of Blood Surging, which is great. Also, now, if you find Bone Duster aspect, you know, which makes Bone Spears guaranteed overpowers in bone, like for the enemies in Bone Prison, you can actually play Bone Spear for leveling, which will be amazing as well. So Bone Spear leveling variant is also back, which is great, okay? On the third place, we have the Shadow Curse Necro with Affliction and Soul Rift, alright? Those leveling builds will carry you to the end game, I guarantee it, okay? So for any leveling build to be powerful, you want the maximum result while having lowest investment, alright? These builds rely on their skill power rather than gear and stats, which is enough to carry you to the end game. So if you look at Shadow Blood Wave, it relies on certain unique items, rune words, and power-ups, and all that stuff. So it is still okay for leveling, but it is perfectly viable, the perfect build for endgame, whereas these builds are perfect for leveling, if that makes sense. So, for the conclusion of this video, I think Season 7 is looking amazing for the Necromancer. I think Blizzard has won by not over-nerfing stuff. This is also extremely important. I think Blizzard has done a fantastic job. My congratulations to Blizzard and the developer teams. I think they have done an amazing job so far, and I think it's gonna get better for Diablo 4. Because it is actually bringing some fresh changes and new concepts, okay? Shadow Blood Wave will take the throne from Bone Spirit, okay? Bone Spirit is still S tier in my tier list because it is what it is still powerful. The new Blood Spear is also looking amazing, and I hope they will improve this concept in the upcoming seasons. It is placed in A tier right now, but I could easily put Blood Spear into S tier. I just want to do it just yet, okay? Because it is still clunky, just a little bit. If you go back to my Season 7 prediction video, you can see that we were spot on about our predictions. I trusted my predictions so much, I have already released a Shadow Blood Wave guide video, more than a month ago. Like, basically, links are shared in the pinned comment below this video. Subscribe to keep updated, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.